Hello, beautiful collective. We're going to get right into it. We're talking New Earth today. What is New Earth? There are a lot of ways to define it. The way that I am hearing it described is as a collection of beings who have come together to fulfill a promise that was made many, many years ago. In order to act as an anchor of a higher frequency than the ones that we were born into in these bodies. They would like us to get away from thinking of New Earth as a place we are going to, rather than a state of frequency that we are building, because they said it's too passive. Thinking of it as a place is causing many of us in this collective to interpret that as an already existing place that we're simply going to get on a spaceship and go to. And at a quantum level, yes, it does already exist. But from the confines of our minds, if we think of it this way, in some ways we are disallowing ourselves to be active participants in bringing it about. And this is a collective that has a very, very active role to be playing, especially now. So they are inviting us to think of New Earth. They're saying, yes, of course it already exists. And if this metaphor would help, think of this as a radio station that you are tuning the dial to. So you are connecting with something that is there, a state of being that is already in existence, a manifested life that's already in existence, a new planet that's already in existence, a new sense of community that's already in existence. But you still need to be the one to tune the dial. So they are asking us not to forget our personal power in this stage. Now, how do we get there? What are we doing? I'm figuring it out too. I'm not any more or less divine than you. I'm with you. But what I am hearing, and this is probably a reflection of what I've been feeling, but chances are if you are here, you are resonating with the same exact thing I am, which is that there has felt like a certain pressure. And I'm getting that some of you are even feeling the pressure in the back of your head. But there is a physical pressure being felt and an internal emotional pressure being felt to have a certain level of expertise in order to be a leader, in order to share your voice, in order to feel that you have the authority to share your voice. And while we are not rejecting the generations upon generations of wisdom and knowledge that our ancestors built into institutions that have served us, we are going to need to accept that where we are going cannot be traversed with expertise because it doesn't exist yet. You cannot expect yourself to have knowledge of an uncharted land, right? You can bring in tools from previous adventures, but you can't expect yourself to have a map of where we haven't mapped yet. So if you are feeling inadequate in any way, if you are jumping into a new venture, a new industry, if you are feeling imposter syndrome, if you are feeling underqualified, it's not about not pursuing those tracks to knowledge in whatever path you are opening yourself up to, but it is about giving yourself so much more credit for the innate wisdom that you already carry with you. And that is going to serve you far more than anything you could learn on paper. This collective also are, I'm hearing signposts, guideposts. We are serving a very powerful role in teaching those around us to rely on inner wisdom, gut knowledge, inner knowing, essentially what I'm doing right now, channeling, as a kind of expertise in itself that has not previously been recognized as expertise. And again, we're not replacing what we learned of the laws of physics or mathematics or English or whatever language you speak or, any of that knowledge. But we are understanding now that when there is a lot of chaos going on right now outside in the world and a lot of distraction and a lot of things vying for our attention, intentionally vying for our attention and trying to get us to not be listening and looking inward, that the greatest expertise we can offer to ourselves and to the people around us is the practice of getting grounded in order to welcome in your own channel in whatever form that's going to take. Many of you already practice this kind of channeling yourselves, where kind of like I'm doing now, it's still coming through me. It's coming through my ego. It's coming through my mind. But it's almost like I'm sitting a little bit to the side and I'm inviting in some higher part of me to speak. And I'm getting like a whole bunch of helpers right over here. There's like 12 to 15 of them. They called themselves the Elohim. Elohim? Something like that. They said, don't worry about names. I'm like, okay, all right. But there's a whole world of wisdom that exists far beyond anything you can find in a textbook, in the news, certainly, in any institution. And that new form of knowledge is going to serve you far better than the I'm hearing egotistical, panicked, nervous system way in which the mind, in a perceived effort to protect itself, drives us to look without for validation rather than looking within for validation. And remember, ego isn't about being conceited so much as it is about being stuck in a certain identity. Like, this is my name, this is where I live, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm not good at, this is what I'm capable of, this is what I'm not capable of, this is how I think, this is how I don't think, this is what I believe in, this is what I don't believe in. every time you open yourself to your own channel, you invite the possibility that you are none of those things that you think you are, and you make room for you to become something other. This is your new expertise. This is what you're going to be bringing as you create New Earth. It's not going to be about celebrating anybody's downfall. It's not going to be about fear-mongering or going into how the whole world is crumbling. It's going to be about this inner place you go to that feels so good and so sure and so comforting. There's no room for doubt. And you'll find that that voice will even direct you to outer institutions for guidance. But again, it rather than coming from the logical ego mind, it'll be this little nudge that says, hey, go to the library and get a book on this. And you're like, what? I've never even heard of that subject. Like, where did that come from? Just do it. I guarantee you, the first book you find, you're going to open a random page and there'll be a sentence that you're like, oh, that is the answer I needed. And it'll direct you to the next thing and the next and the next. And then lo and behold, maybe you're signing up for a course that you never would have considered signing up for. And it's the perfect solution for whatever gap you feel that you need to fill in. And you don't have gaps you need to fill in. But it's like the inner guidance system is so much more powerful in helping us get to our goals than we realize it is. Even our negative emotions. If you can learn to think of negative emotions not as bad, not as toxic, we're not about this toxic positivity where it's all good vibes all the time. Remember that your emotions, whether you perceive them as good or bad, positive or negative, are all part of a weather mapping system, a guidance to tell you, excuse me, really swallowing a lot right now. So there's something there. But anyway, a guidance system to tell you when you are in resistance to something, when you are going in the right direction, and when you are going in a direction that you do not feel aligns with your highest truth. This year, we are getting real close in touch with our inner guidance systems. And the more we can practice listening to those, not judging them, not trying to squash them down, not trying to erase them, not trying to pretend we're feeling good all the time, the more we can simply listen, observe, and reflect on what we're hearing, the more we're going to find that we naturally become the experts and the leaders that we are guided to be. And in turn, we're going to be teaching others to do the same. And the cool thing in New Earth is that leadership is not about a stratified hierarchy. In a previous video, I spoke about self-sovereignty. The new definition of leadership in New Earth is exactly that. It is self-governance, self-leadership. And through self-governance, we are inspiring others, but we're inspiring them to become their own leaders. So it's only going to feel like a paradox for those of us who are very used to the word leadership, meaning an isolated individual who carries the burden all on their shoulders, but also carries the power all on their shoulders. That is not the world that we are making now. New Earth leadership, the leadership that you are developing right now, is about equal opportunity to live in the light. And that is not a metaphor. It is a very literal coalescence with the frequency of light language, which with the frequency that is awakening parts of our DNA that have been asleep, with the frequency of light codes that are pouring onto the earth right now. Thank you. And making all obstacles laughably insignificant. Because when the people have power, they cannot help but thrive. They can't help but topple the people who are trying to hold power over others. It's like a closed system will always self-implode, right? What are we seeing now but closed systems self-imploding? These little worlds of power. They're coming to the surface. They've been there all this time. This isn't anything new. We've known this. We've known it for a long time, right? It's going to be many years. Not excessively many, but several years for these systems to continue to deteriorate and reach a mass tipping point. But that doesn't matter, because what's happening in the background, where our attention is turned, is to the new structures we are creating that already are becoming powerful enough to sustain us, that are allowing us to turn our attention away from where others want our attention directed, so we can be living in absolute abundance now. We aren't going to have to wait several years to see these things come to fruition. That's simply going to be like the final, the final outwardly expressed, manifested stage of the change that already has been happening and will continue to happen through 2026. Because don't forget, this physical world is the last stage of manifestation. This is how the laws of physics work as far as we understand them today. Wherever your attention is focused, their reality coalesces. I'm going to leave it there. I think we covered a lot. Thank you guys so much. I love you and see you in the next video.